I got a thing here to enhance my Pokemon Go adventure abilities, a game changer really. Before that though, one thing I was going to start this episode with was another 10k egg hatch, because I think those are always exciting, many chances at some cool rare things in those, and every egg hatch promises good IV potential, and that's what I find most fun about the game the way it is right now, the hunt for perfect IV Pokemon that I can feel good about training up. But back to the 10k egg, the terribly inconsistent capturing software crashed when I tried to record it on the O screen, and I got no video because after restarting the app, it just goes right into your inventory. It would have been hyped too because I got this Electabuzz 1185, actually my new highest CP right now. I know that's kinda sad, but it was a new mon, 31 candy to go along with it too. Gotta save those up for that Electivire I'm gonna have 2 years from now. No crazy perfect IVs or anything, it would appear to be an 87%. I know there are still ways to check IVs directly, like the Pogo profiles and PokeAdvisor things you used to do, but I've been keeping away from those until Niantic figures some things out. So for now, we're back to the dark ages of IV calculators. Feels bad. Earlier in the week, I also hatched a Machop, which was new, and a Magikarp from a 2k egg, which is definitely a good hatch compared to the potential Weedles and Pidgeys. I will definitely be looking for, ideally, a perfect IV Magikarp before blowing 400 candy on an evolution, so some people might consider a Magikarp hatch a disappointment, but oh no, quite the opposite. Give me all that extra candy and give me those good IVs. Well, time to get on with what is at hand here. Yeah, based on that, I think I chose the wrong box. This is actually completely unrelated to anything Pokemon. It's a laptop battery. Time for the actual thing. That's a hard drive, that's unrelated too. But finally, we have here some extra micro USB cables and a sick external battery. Qualcomm Quick Charge 2.0, 16,000 milliamp hours, all for a very reasonable price. Yes, I know it has been a bit of a cliche to buy a battery like this to go along with the Pokemon Go stuff. I'm sure the past month has seen a noticeable spike in battery sales like these, but I didn't buy this just because of one game. It is something I wanted anyway. I had one of these before, but it was a really crappy thing I got from a dollar store for a couple bucks. The port on it is wobbly and annoying, and it's only 2200 milliamp hours, which is less than a full phone charge. Gets annoying to charge that all the time. I'll hold on to it because it is obviously more portable, but this badass brick thing has 2 USB ports so I can charge 2 things at once, or if somebody else is in need, their phone's dying, well, here I come to save the day. I love the idea of having this with me all the time. The ability to charge cell phones anywhere, anytime, practically a superpower. And that battery does come with a little 20cm micro USB cable of its own, but I got 3 more as well, 1, 3, and 6 feet, because they're cheap and I'm always running out of them somehow, probably giving them to people and never asking for it back. Well, that is cool, I think. It's going to be fun having that. It means that I never have to suffer through a long walk back with a dying phone not getting egg hatching progress, and it means that I can go as far as I want and stay out for as long as I want without being tethered by battery life. Exciting! And with that, it is time to plan another journey. This may look reminiscent of Pokevision, but you will quickly see it is only a static map, something that the Pokemon Go Vancouver subreddit seems to be working on, just documenting consistent spawn locations. I think I already showed a community Google map thing where some people were doing this in addition to PokeStops and good lure areas, but this one seems more reliable, not just anyone can come along and add something. And this does reinforce some things I already know. I have heard that Jericho Beach here is known to spawn Charmander. Queen Elizabeth Park does totally spawn Voltorb all the time. I was there in episode 2, and back when Pokevision was around, they were always showing up there. Obviously, this map is nowhere near complete. This is probably 0.01% of what could be on here. It isn't like there's nothing in this entire area, and then in this one park you can find a ton of Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, and Electabuzz. I doubt it. By the way, I did drive by that park recently before I checked this map. I was on the way to something else, and a couple hours apart there was some lure party action going on in there. Apparently not a bad place to go, but nowhere near convenient for me, so pretty much irrelevant. Another thing on the map that confirms something I saw on Pokevision all the time was this Rhyhorn spawn. I always saw 1 or 2 Rhyhorn up here, and nowhere else on the map when I scanned the area. That's pretty much all I did with Pokevision when it was around. I only used it to find and catch one Pokemon, a Porygon that I ran 10 blocks to get. But I scanned the city a ton of times just to learn where things tended to be, although I'm sure that changes with time, so I don't think that helps me a lot now. Well, I think what I want to do is ride out to UBC via bicycle for many reasons. One, I want to try to check out this potential Rhyhorn nest. I caught one CP15 Rhyhorn at the beginning of the game, like it was one of my first 10 Pokemon, and I have not seen even one nearby since then, so that would be cool. 2. Last episode I tested hatching eggs on different bus routes, and now I will test hatching eggs on a bike. Of course, I think you just have to be traveling under about 10 kilometers per hour on average, and you'll be fine, so I'll try not riding too fast. And finally, 3. I want to scout out the UBC campus here. I have not been there with Pokemon Go yet. I do go to school there, if you didn't know from some other update video, so I'll be heading back there in just a few weeks, and I want to check it out, see what it's like in terms of Pokemon and PokeStops. I've heard some good things, so that should be cool. Oh yeah, and a 4th reason, this finally gives me a good reason to use the bike theme. With that, away we go. So I can be playing this game with one hand or holding the camera with one hand, but when I try to do both is when things get dicey, because I can't have any hand on a brake. Yes, I am just holding a camera. I ain't got no fancy GoPro helmet mount. I'm not gonna be doing this long enough to justify buying one. But I stopped here because I saw a nearby Electabuzz, and it actually popped up on a side street. The nearby list was pretty crazy here for some reason, and there it is again, so sweet. First Electabuzz I've actually found would be a new register if it weren't for that lucky egg hatch earlier. Not lucky egg, lucky egg hatch. Alright, well cool, back on the road. This street is usually busy, but it's all closed down for this construction, which is awesome for me. But I'm actually working there today, so I guess I'll go around. It looks like I still haven't made it past the people working, so using this app as a navigation tool looks like I should perhaps cut through this park. Fucking Niantic and Team Valor, god damn it. That face when you do something idiotic that will likely cause you to flip over and crash, but you do it anyway because worst case scenario, that's a funny video. I hope that showed up alright. That wasn't fake, I legit did half a front flip there. That is why you don't go down an extremely bumpy 45-degree hill holding a camera and a phone with half of your hand on the front wheel brake only. Yeah, that won't make you front flip, you moron. Well, we made it through there and past the construction, so we can get back to this awesomely deserted main road. I was approaching the highway I needed to take and just got the 2K egg about to hatch, which is good, means I can get a new egg started before that highway. Just gonna pull over into this park area here, and it's a good time to analyze how well our biking has been tracked. That was one objective I had today. If I check our route so far, we've gone about 5 kilometers in mostly a straight line. You can call it 4 kilometers if you want to cut out some corners, but this game has tracked the 2 kilometers to hatch this egg. That is disappointing because I don't think I've been going that fast. I think it would average out to about a running speed because I do occasionally stop to check the game as well. And not even once has a notification come up to say that I'm going too fast. I haven't had to tell it I'm a passenger. And we all know that notification comes up all the time. It can even come up if you're not moving at all because of a little GPS drift. But that whole trip, it never told me I was going too fast, and yet only like 40% of the distance was recorded. I guess really you just have to be walking, or it still isn't doing a great job with the tracking. It is a shame, because biking is the iconic way you hatch eggs in a Pokemon game, and in real life, it doesn't appear to work all that well. Back on the road. I felt that vibration. There's an Eevee here, turn around. Aha, there you are. Got him. Now off the highway finally and approaching the village area. I remember seeing on PokeVision that there were a ton of Pokemon in here. Nothing special, but there was always a dense cloud of spawn locations in here. Maybe because so many people live here. So I will keep an eye out for that, maybe walk through here, catch a few things before continuing on. Yeah, I took a seat here and things just keep popping up, no time in between capturing. Sitting here is practically a natural quad lure, have not had to stop and wait yet. When that area was sufficiently drained, it was time to continue on to the main campus. Now here's another phone recording fail. When I got to the central fountain area, I took the first look at the game here and it was incredible. Hundreds of PokeStops. I did a big 360 panorama sweep of the whole area with the game and the camera at the same time. But instead, the only thing that recorded was the 2 seconds right here, on a loop. It might as well be a screenshot, so I'll show some video from later on of how crazy it is here. To summarize, this campus is a freaking amazing place to be. Hundreds of PokeStops that come together to form many potential triple lure areas, several gyms, and tons of natural Pokemon spawning as well. The area around where I live may suck, but I can no longer complain about anything like a lack of stops or lures around where I live. I am very grateful to have this here. Pretty soon I'll be here a few times a week. If this game was around for my first year when I had classes all 5 days and I had breaks in between classes, I would have a ton of time to be catching stuff, but I planned my second year timetable around only coming on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, both terms, which is awesome that it worked out that way, but sadly not ideal for playing this game. Anyway, I moved only a little bit away from that fountain, and that nearby Tauros popped up by the chemistry building here, and right after that, a Bellsprout. Pretty high levels on some of these too. A 526 Clefairy, a 559 Bellsprout. Not bad. I hate that the phone video is just gone. I did go around to some other places, like this area. There's one that I heard about. That library, the fountain, and that bell tower are all PokeStops, and I heard about people hanging out here with a triple lure running all the time. Of course, I only saw one lure the entire time I was there that day, but there were no classes running. That was on a Saturday, and we're in the middle of August. But when we're in the middle of a term and 50,000 people in the largest age demographic of this game are walking around, even with people fading out of interest in this game, surely, I have a feeling things are gonna get pretty crazy with the lures. And even without the lures, there's a lot to catch here. As much as I like finally feeling like I have access to a good place to catch things, I still wish that spawning logic would change to favor parks and places where you'd actually expect to find Pokemon, not the busiest areas of cities. I know the technical reasoning behind that, but you can't help but hate it. Well, anyway, I'll skip past what is effectively the campus tour because I don't have any gameplay to go along with it. I was still working my way towards that Rhyhorn area. I finally made it to the northernmost part here, quite the view indeed, and I was approaching where I roughly thought I saw that Rhyhorn on the map when I started to run into what appeared to be a wedding. I was just crashing a wedding looking for my dang Rhyhorn, so I stayed back a bit. I didn't keep going down there. I did catch some water Pokemon that were hanging out in this pond area, but after that I retreated. The Rhyhorn wasn't a huge deal, and I didn't know exactly where I was going anymore. I didn't want to sit there and just try to find the map on my phone. I kinda hoped I would get nearby and then get lucky, so consider the Rhyhorn mission a fail, but the campus scouting mission and the bike egg hatching testing mission certainly successful. With so much around to catch, I just slowly made my way around, got some PokeStops, got some Pokemon. I was working my way over to a lure, but the phone vibrated every few seconds, so I kept stopping to catch them all. I mean, a lure is only something every few minutes, which is mostly time spent sitting there doing nothing, so just walking around here is much more productive than that. This campus is also infested with these cute little tree rats, not too afraid of humans anymore. If they ever have 4th gen Pokemon and this place is not one huge Pachirisu nest, that would be a real shame. So it was a lot of doing that on the way back, some catching, some item collecting, some phone video lost. I hate that screen recording software, but I feel like I've tried them all at this point, and I just have the best of the worst. My phone got low on battery, but that is no cause for concern anymore. Haha! I was thinking of heading back anyway, but thanks to the battery, I can leave it on all the way back to be hatching eggs with no fear of the phone dying. No rush whatsoever. I like that battery. Went inside to get some water, and started heading back the way I came. From all that traveling around since that 2K egg hatch earlier, I was working on a 5K egg, and that was about to hatch. So at some point before the highway, I'll check on it and get working on a new egg. Was about to leave when suddenly a Nidoran. I pulled over here before going back through the village area there, figured the egg would be ready, and it was. Impossible to see because of the brightness, but there you go, it was a Drowsy. I see those things all the time, which would make it cool to get a perfect IV one, I suppose, because I would have enough candy to level it up all the way, but otherwise, not an exciting hatch at all. Well, I was lucky enough to pick up another 10k while I was there, so I will use one of the blue incubators I saved from the level up bonuses just for 10k eggs, and a regular incubator on the 5k egg. And we were good to go. A lot of the way back was downhill. It would be hard to see on video, but all the way back through that village and most of the highway, I can pretty much just roll back, which is a fun way to hatch eggs. I stopped by this viewpoint off the highway, quite the viewpoint indeed. What I didn't realize, however, was that somehow the location had been disabled in my phone, so this was not counting towards an egg at all. Somehow, even with the server problem being better, and after I fixed the battery problems I had, I still found a way to screw myself over when I'm trying to hatch eggs on the way back from somewhere. I realized this pretty late when I checked my phone around here on the map. What a fail. Although not actually as bad as it seems, because I lose internet for 3/4 of that highway, so that part wouldn't have counted anyway. But when I realized the location was off somehow, and I had 0 egg progress, I got that fixed up, restarted the app, and figured I'd just test it from where I was to Maple Grove Park up there, traveling 2 kilometers, and this was the uphill section, so I was not going to be going fast. Did exactly that, and this is what I saw when I reached Maple Grove. 0.5, yep, 0.5. Still only tracking 1/4 of the distance I had traveled. Feels bad, it really does. I was not going quickly up that hill, believe me. So between my failure with the location thing and the game not tracking very well, I got 500 meters out of the 12 kilometers it took me to actually travel there. Yeah! Adding everything up, probably traveled a total of 30 kilometers that day, and I hatched a 2K and a 5K, and then this. So 7.5 out of 30K, nice and 25% accuracy. Not far from what I got from sitting on a bus, which should really reward you less than riding a bike. In a perfect world, you'd get full credit for walking, running, and biking, and nothing for the busing and driving. But obviously there's no easy way to determine what you're using to get around, so that is a rough part of this game. With the improved tracking not here yet, and all the other problems that there are, you would hope egg hatching, looking for those good IVs, is something we can be doing while we wait for updates to bring fixes and cool new features, but even the egg hatching can be an ordeal. I'll recap the day and the week. Looks like I caught about 28 on that trip, which sounds terrible, but with all these adventure type things, I'm more interested in learning about the area and testing hatching eggs on bikes, things like that. I'll have plenty of time to sit around and just catch things when I'm going there 3 times a week. And also, the first time I go somewhere, I'm more interested in capturing footage to put together a video than capturing the Pokemon. But every time I revisit a place I've already been, then I can just focus on catching tons of stuff. I don't have to record everything. Like with Fraser River, I go there all the time, but obviously recording that every time would be boring. As of right now, I'm back up to over 200 Pokemon, really hoping it'll be easy to scan IV values before I have to go through and do another mass transfer. I don't know when or if that'll be accepted by Niantic. I may also be able to increase my Pokemon storage with the coins I'm getting from gyms. I have enough for another upgrade pretty soon here. Gyms aren't that bad. Some people make it out to be completely pointless to ever take a gym, and I'm guessing those are the people who have no problem spending some money on the game, because yeah, the coins you get from gyms pale in comparison if you're spending money. But if you aren't, it's a fun way to work your way to some extra bag storage or whatever. Yeah, gyms aren't that rewarding. It would be nice if there was more incentive to train up a gym and to care about defending a gym, and many other things that could be improved. Like, I wish the type effectiveness was more effective. Pretty sure it's only a 1.25 and 0.8 multiplier to damage when you get double damage in the regular games. Maybe they should bump it up a bit so that picking a good type matchup actually matters. And of course, rebalancing Pokemon that rely on speed instead of bulk, like Jolteon, that's bad too. I hate that if I take on a Gyarados with an Electabuzz, only being a little bit lower level, I will likely lose because Gyarados is just better, and the electric moves don't get boosted as much as they maybe should. I get why it shouldn't be double and quadruple damage, because then anything with a quad weakness would be pretty bad as a gym defender. Anyone can just pick the right thing to counter it, and it isn't like the gym AI can switch out to a different Pokemon to counter yours. Maybe that would be a cool thing, but anyway, the gyms are something to do. I don't hate the way it is. Well, another journey wrapped up. I have no real plans for the next one. I might not even do anything interesting enough for a video, now that I know my efforts walking around Fraser River mean very little compared to what I'll have in September. I might just hatch as many eggs as I can. I did not expect this to turn into a series that has lasted as long as it has. It's just been fun to put together so far. This little series won't end completely for a very long time, I think, but at some point it will definitely stop being weekly. That's all I know. Thanks for watching this chapter, and I'll catch you next time. I need to mow the lawn, damn it. How are there still so many, dude? We picked like 10 boxes. The apple arc is never over. We pause to admire the fearsome beauty of the bald-faced hornet. Although it is not a true hornet, it is in fact a species of yellow-jacket wasp. They are easily distinguished from other yellow jackets by their white and black coloring. Adult hornets are carnivorous and they often prey upon other insects, but they may also consume fruit as we observe here. Truly a magnificent creature. All these falling on the ground may seem like a real waste, and it does suck. We try to make good use of many of them, like with this awesome peeling machine. Whee! Want some apple skin spaghetti? But nearly all of these are pretty chewed up or rotten in some way, although parts of them are goddamn delicious. Well, there's only one way to appropriately dispose of unwanted piles of apples.